Hi, welcome to my video about eating gluten-free on a budget. My name is Carla and I was diagnosed with celiac disease in 2008 and I have been eating gluten-free ever since. I work as an accountant and as a teacher, and I have had the chance to help others with their finances and help them save money over the years, and I'm excited to help you eat gluten-free and save money while doing it. I'm going to share 5 tips with you that will get you off and running to eating gluten-free on a budget. I plan to post further videos and a blog with tips regularly, and you will be able to follow those as well if you would like even further tips. But these 5 items will get you off and going. So with that, I'm going to start with my first tip. This first step to eating gluten-free on a budget is to learn to prepare a few gluten-free staples on your own so that you won't have to buy them at the store. These would be things you eat a lot, and by mastering them, you won't be spending hours and hours in the kitchen. And to do that, I do suggest purchasing a gluten-free cookbook, a basic one with some basic recipes in them. Look for recipes with very few ingredients. Look for recipes that are easy to prepare, and maybe read some reviews online to make sure that they have good recipes. It might take you a time or two to master the recipes, but once you master them, they'll be easy and simple to make. And again, it's just the things you eat a lot. So some suggestions for cookbooks might be the Gluten-Free on a Shoestring book I have here. That's one good one with some good recipes. Another example one I have over here is one for people with kids and busy adults. There's lots of them out there that you can buy. So I suggest getting one and working on just a couple of the recipes, mastering those, and then you can make them week to week. My second tip on eating gluten-free is to prepare and purchase foods in bulk. So for example, I buy gluten-free flour blend in bulk. That's a huge one, especially since I like to make my own bread and pizza crusts as my gluten-free staples. I also buy yeast in bulk because I use a lot of yeast. The other item I like to buy in bulk, olive oil. Sometimes I buy spices if I know I'm using them a lot. This is cinnamon. I buy in bulk. I also buy other baking goods such as brown sugar. I like to buy dried fruit. I also buy things like flaxseed and chia seed in bulk. And then I also buy other staples that I eat a lot, such as rice in bulk. We happen to have a Costco in our town, so that's where I buy. But you can also go to a Sam's Club. Some of these things are available on, say, Amazon in bulk, or we have a restaurant supply store in town that has things in bulk as well. So I suggest buying items in bulk and also preparing items in bulk. So when I make pizza crust, which is one of the staples I like to make, I make, say, 4 pizza crusts at once, and thus I need items in bulk to make that many. And then I freeze the extras, or I just eat a lot of pizza during the week, or I use the pizza crust for other things like wrapping them and making them calzones or strombolis or hot dogs or breadsticks or garlic knots, all different items. So I suggest anytime you make the effort to prepare something gluten-free to make extras so that another time when you don't have the time or energy to make something, it's available. My third tip for eating gluten-free on a budget is to utilize foods that are naturally gluten-free already as often as possible. So for example, one of the huge staples in my house is the corn tortilla. These are just basic corn tortillas. I use them for a lot of my Mexican dishes, and I use them to wrap up hot dogs or to use as mini pizzas. I find that I'm used to the corn taste and I don't need to buy gluten-free substitutes for tortillas or to spend a lot of time making them. So that's one item I like to use a lot. Another corn item that helps fill in the gap of some carbs in your diet, this is polenta, which is also a corn product, and it's kind of a nice side dish to your meal. If you're not as much into corn, there's things like rice. I have some brown rice here, or white rice, always works. That's another idea. Some other More unique ideas, nutrition packed, are quinoa. That's one. Here's another one. This is buckwheat. This can be used as a hot cereal type thing or as a side dish. And it's naturally gluten-free. Other things that are naturally gluten-free, beans. Beans are super cheap and have a lot of nutritional value, and they fill you up. And nuts. If you can tolerate nuts, nuts are always a great way to eat gluten-free as well. And there's all different kinds of nuts, and they're super tasty. You should always eat lots of fruits and vegetables, but again, we all should be eating that anyway. It's good to find gluten-free substitutes for our gluten counterparts. That's what's really needed to help you eat gluten-free and not feel like you're suffering. My fourth gluten-free tip is to be sure that you're properly preserving and storing your gluten-free foods. The last thing you want to do is have a gluten-free food that you have to throw away. Many gluten-free foods have short shelf lives, so it's important to make sure that you are freezing things before they go bad or preserving them. There's other ways of preserving, such as canning or drying as well. And I will do another video on those because they're techniques of their own, but those are options on how to save your food. Freezing is a great way to save your food. You may need to invest in a separate chest freezer, but they do come very cheap for the most part. I think we got ours for less than $200, and it doesn't take up a ton of space. So if you can get an extra freezer, I highly suggest it because it will help you save your food. It will also help you when you cook in bulk to have a place to store your bulk food to use for later that you've prepared. So I highly suggest making sure that you properly store all gluten-free food, and again, invest in maybe some ideas for preserving it for the future, which include canning, drying, and freezing. My last tip is my biggest tip, and that is to utilize different stores, coupons, and sales to maximize your savings on gluten-free products. In my town, I live in a small town, but surprisingly, we have a large variety of stores that we can go to for gluten-free goods. We have a Costco in our town. That's one I utilize a lot, especially for buying bulk items. We do have a grocery store in town. That's a Fred Meyer. It's a Kroger store, but I find that actually that store is more expensive to buy things. So I try not to buy from the grocery store gluten-free substitutes anyway, as much as possible. Some other stores in our town that I've utilized for some gluten-free items have been Rite Aid. I usually go by their gluten-free little section each time I'm there. And one time I went, they had a bunch of stuff, 75% off. I got almost an entire cart full of food for less than $25. Another option in our town anyway is the Dollar Tree. The Dollar Tree doesn't have a ton of gluten-free items, but if you look through their food aisles, there are a few things that are quite inexpensive. Things like rice and beans. If you don't want to buy them in bulk, you could buy them from the Dollar Tree. They do have frozen fruits and veggies that are just fruits and veggies, so the nutritional value is still there. And they have a few different sauces and nut mixes. Just be careful and read the labels carefully. We also have a restaurant supply store in our town. That's a good place sometimes to buy meat in bulk, or you just have to get familiar with it to know what they carry and what you use. So I don't go to all these stores all the time, but I kind of know what's at what store. So if I need a certain item, I can go there. I live in a small town. Everything's close. I don't suggest driving miles and miles for stores unless you're saving a ton of money. But I do suggest utilizing the variety that's available to you of shopping items, Amazon and online shopping being one of them. The other thing is to shop sales. When I go to our grocery store, I only buy stuff that's on sale. I try not to buy anything regular price there. It's crazy. So for example, we have some Udi's bread here. If you see this tag here, it says it was $2.99. The regular price of this Udi's sandwich bread at our store is $6.99. So my husband got these in the clearance cart because they were nearing their due date. They weren't overdue. I was able to eat some of it fresh, and then we were able to freeze the rest. I refuse to buy Udi's bread full price. The other thing with companies like Udi's is a lot of times you can get coupons for their food. So get on their website, see if you can download coupons for all of the big brands of gluten-free foods. Write to them, email them, see what kind of deals you can get. Also, at my local grocery store, we have a membership card, and so coupons get sent to us from the store, and a lot of times they're specifically for gluten-free items because the store has flagged me as a gluten-free customer. So make sure you use those coupons and make the most of them when available. My goal is to never pay full price for things, especially gluten-free things that tend to be really highly priced anyway. Of course, the exception would be going to a warehouse and buying in bulk, where I'm feeling like I'm not paying as high of a price since I'm purchasing a bulk item. We also have a natural grocer in our town. They run some sales as well that can be really good. So you just have to know your options and keep track of them. I don't advocate for spending hours and hours clipping coupons or going from store to store, but you can save quite a bit of money by just doing some simple steps such as these. So I hope you enjoyed all of my gluten-free tips for you, and I hope these get you off and running. Please come back and visit my YouTube channel and my blog. I plan to put links for those in the description here. And yeah, I hope to see you more and watch the videos that you think will be of help to you, and we'll see you later. Thanks. Bye-bye.